beautiful friends. My name is Jacqueline Rose, and I do not think it's a coincidence that you're here. I think you're meant to be here. So if this message resonates with you, please click like and subscribe to my channel. This channel is about everything spiritual and much, much more. So it's been a hot minute since I've done a video like this, but I wanted to talk about some things that I have seen coming up in my life and issues that people have. And first and foremost, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jacqueline, and I am a intuitive life coach. And so I help people through situations, and really I always say I'm calling in my tribe. I put an intention out there to call in people that needed guidance and that I could help in their life, and that were the ones that needed to wake up next. And so what I really do is self-inquiry teaching. I teach people about what the ego is, what the subconscious is, and how to do self-inquiry. And a couple of questions that I've had come up are about triggers. And I always want to say that triggers are good. Triggers are in our life to really teach us about what we need to heal within. And how I wanted to kind of show how we use triggers to help us grow in our life. And for instance, let's say that you're really judgy. Okay, this is what I do. If I notice that I'm judging some part of somebody, if it's my husband, if it's my son, if it's, I'm trying to think of a situation where I was judging somebody. I was judging somebody for being rude. This person just came off very rude to me. And it was a week where I was just noticing it more, and it would piss me off, but I knew that these were ego thoughts. I knew that because I was getting triggered, if I was noticing that that person was rude, I was rude. And I wasn't noticing it, and I wasn't giving grace to myself in it. And so I kind of would go through like, okay, where am I rude in my life? And I would kind of think about, well, really who I'm mostly rude to are the people that I love the most, and which would be my husband and my son. I can get an attitude with them and I can be rude. I am kind, but my triggers come out with my family. And you will notice that the people closest to you will trigger you the most. At least I have noticed that. And our triggers can activate our subconscious programming behavior where we would just react in certain ways, and they're not always beneficial. And so I've had enough time of building up a meditation practice where I can kind of slow down for my reactions, not all the time. Okay. Sometimes I just react. Sometimes I go to the old behaviors. I'm not great. And then I just show up again differently, because this is how the universe works. It will always bring another situation for you to be able to improve. So with the rudeness, I noticed where I was rude to people in my life, and how I still haven't forgiven myself for being rude to those people. I still have judgment around myself because I was rude, and I'm not always perfect, not good enough. So I'm always striving to be more. So I just kind of looked at that, and a good technique to use to help you kind of release some of the judgment of yourself and others is Ho'oponopono. I've talked about this in videos, but it's a technique that helps you kind of release. It's a mantra that you repeat over and over again. So you would go into a meditative stage and then start repeating this mantra. It's very helpful. But then I knew that I needed to give this person grace, that they're not always perfect and they're not always aware of how they come off. It's a very hard task to look at yourself from an outer perspective. That's why it's great to ask people, like, is there something that I'm not seeing? Is there something about this situation that I'm not seeing? Or is there something in me? Because if your intent is always to solve the problem, then it's not about me being right or wrong. It's about me solving the problem. So if there's something that I'm doing that is very obvious to somebody else, let me know, because obviously I'm spinning my wheels over here. So it's good to be open-minded when you're in self-inquiry, to ask people like, hey, is there something that I'm not seeing? But also using self-inquiry to help you grow. What happens for me is, after I had kind of let go of this person being rude because I was working through my own rudeness, within fucking 24 hours, there was a situation that came up in my life where somebody delivered a service and didn't follow through for me. And I do not like when people fuck with my money, by the way. Do not fuck with my money. So when somebody does not deliver what they said they were going to do, it aggravates me. And that happened. And I got very rude with this person. And I don't really know why the person didn't deliver the service. I think maybe there was a miscommunication on my part, and maybe this person, I don't know. But I was rude to them, and I could have been kinder. But I also needed to set a boundary. But it made me mad. For a couple of days, I was fucking mad that this person basically didn't follow through. Even when they came back and tried to correct it, it still wasn't good. And I stewed in that. And I want to show you that stewing in things, this illusion that you create in your mind, like why would they do this and blah, 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 whatever. The story. You just create the story. You got to notice the story that your mind creates. This is called self-inquiry. What is my mind doing? It's creating a story. And based on this story that I keep fucking going on over in my head, I'm getting myself aggravated. So that's what I did. And then I noticed how I was being rude and how I could have been better, or how I could have addressed it, or how there was many signs that I shouldn't even have used this person. And I went against my better judgment and I still used the person. And who's to blame? It's really me. When the universe was showing me this was not a good idea. The universe actually presented a situation to me and was like, hey, are you going to be dumb again? And I was. So really the responsibility comes back on me. And so I kind of saw like how I judged somebody for being rude, and then the situation came up in my life and I was rude and I wasn't always aware. And even when I was aware that I was being rude, it didn't stop me from being rude. So I needed to be able to see that in myself. And that's why I saw it in that person. And that's how we kind of use self-inquiry. This is the exercise that goes on through just one situation. And in my coaching, I really help people individually get through each situation. I basically teach them the self-inquiry game through their triggers. Like, oh, it's triggering you. Well, look at it this way. And what are you supposed to be learning? And has this happened in your life before? You know, I teach them this process so they can eventually do it on their own. And then those triggers become less and less and less. And you get more and more peace. But just a PS, one of the easiest ways to become more of a master of self-inquiry is to meditate on a daily basis. It's going to strengthen your mind. Meditation is not only to connect to a higher source, but meditation is an exercise for your mind, for you to become more emotionally intelligent. There's a lot of people out there that are not emotionally intelligent. This helps you pause. It helps you ask questions. It helps you sit with your emotions. But I wanted to get this out on video. I hope that it helps somebody, and I'm glad to be connecting again. Much love.